Hey, it's Tim with Game Time. I'm going to try to teach you how to play Museum. So what you're trying to do in this game is have the best museum. You're a curator of one, and you're trying to add different objects from different continents and make collections to give you victory points at the end of the game. And let me show you kind of the boards in the game. So right here is the main board. It's kind of busy, got some good artwork on it. You score, you're going to get victory points throughout the game. You track these on the edge of the board here. Okay, you have the different objects from 4 different continents. You have America Pacific right here, you have Europe right here, you have Africa Middle East right here, and then lastly you have Asia right here. There's also cards that can come out after the first round called headlines. They will change how the round is played. Right here you have favorite cards, which give you special abilities throughout the game. Down here you're going to have expert cards. These are special cards that you can, hire into your museum. And down here we have the museum itself. This is a basic board, and then on the other side is the more complicated board on the back. Okay, at the beginning of the game, you're going to get 1 favorite card, and you're going to get 1 object card from each of the 4 continents, and you're going to get 3 patron cards. So let me show you what these do. So the patron cards are going to be objectives that you need to have at the end of the game. Like this one is have 4 mind cards, 3 masterpieces, and 7 in any domain. Here's 4 navigation cards, 8 Japanese, and 4 Roman cards. So there's a bunch of these. So you're going to pick one of these, and then you're going to discard the other 2. Your favorite card right here, all favorite cards have the same bottom ability. They also have a special ability up here. And then object cards, these are the things I'm going to be displaying in my museum. You've already seen these a little bit. And what you're going to do on your turn is you're going to go and choose one of these object cards out here on the board. Okay, I can pick any of them. I'll just pick this one. Okay, I put it in my hand, and then each other player has a chance to go pick one of these object cards out here. And if they pick them, they're going to each give you, for each guy that picks, you're going to get 1 prestige in the game. So I'll just say that both my opponents maybe chose them, so I get 2 prestige. And after you do that, you can choose one of 2 things. That first part's called the exploration phase. Then you can do one of 2 things. You can go and exhibit in your museum, or you can go and perform an inventory. So exhibiting in the museum is the main way that you're going to play the object cards. So what you're going to do in order to play a card in your museum, you have to discard a card. If I want to display a 5, I need to discard 5 points worth of cards to be able to play that. So I discard down here, and then I can play my 5 here. And if I have any other cards, like say I have this 2, I can also pay my prestige right here. I can discard it, and I can play this card somewhere in my museum. Say I want to play it here. And so that's how you're going to be able to play cards in your museum. If you play cards in your museum that are 5 value, you're going to get they're called masterpieces, and you're going to get a prestige back just for playing them. The value in the top left of the cards, this is how much they cost, but it's also how many victory points you would get. So I played, let me just put this over here so you can see it. I put 7 value down, so I go over to my score, and I get 7 points for that. And I can do that as much as I want. Something else that I can do is in other people's discard piles. So here's my opponent, let's say. I can play any of his cards. So when you discard something, you keep them face up. And all I got to do is discard a card of value 4, let's say. I discard it to my discard. I pay that person a prestige. And then I can take this card from their discard pile, and I can display it in my museum. On these object cards, you're going to see different icons on them. You're going to see colors. There's a lot of different colors in the game, and these each have to do with this civilization that they're a part of right here. This one's Indian, this one's Greek, this one's Egyptian. You're also going to have what's called domains in the top right. These ones are each of a different domain. And so the 2 types of collections that you're going to be able to get in your museum, because you can put these cards anywhere, and there's certain things you can do. You can fill up your museum to get points, but really what you're trying to do, where the most points are, is with a collection. So the 2 types of collections are civilization. That just means that you get a bunch of cards of the same civilization, the same color. Okay, so like if I were to grab this card and I lay it around and say this card, well, that's a different one. So these two are the same. So I'm starting to make a Civilization collection. You know, as long as I have 3, then I have a collection here. And it shows me how many points I get on this little chart right here. I won't go into that too deep, but I just want to show you that. Having the same domain symbol in my museum will also give me some points. So like if I were to just borrow some cards over here, if I were to have a collection like this, or put, you know, if I were to put these in my museum and they all have the same symbol on the top right, that means I have a domain collection. And to have a domain collection, I want to have different colors, because if they're all the same color, like say if I put this one in here, it's not going to give me extra points for having 2 yellows. It's only going to give me points for having 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones. Now I can still make this a collection, I just won't get any extra points for this extra card here. Civilization ones, it's just the same color. You just get a bunch of points. So that is exhibiting objects in my museum. That's how you would do it. You just do as many as you want. You have to pay for them. You can play from other people's discard piles. The other thing that I could do is I could perform an inventory. So if I perform an inventory, say I've played a bunch of cards, you know, on earlier turns, and they're here, maybe some people have bought them, I can just, you know, instead of displaying items in my museum, I can just grab all these. I can grab all the cards in my discard pile. I think up to 7. You can only have 7 cards in your hand when you do that. I take them back to my hand, and I also get a prestige, you know, from the, I'd get another one, and I would grab a favor card. I would grab a favor card and put it in my hand. Those are the things that I do during an inventory. I can't really play any cards here, but I can always play 1 favor card. So there's 2 free actions that you could do. One is just to play a favor card. The other one is to buy these guys right here, these experts. And each expert has a cost. It shows it right here. It costs 2 prestige. So essentially I'm paying 2 of these, which are victory points, to get one of these guys right here. And when I get one, I'm going to take him, and he's going to give me an extra domain symbol. It looks like that. I just put him there. And if I have enough, I can buy a second one. If I get this guy, he just gives me an extra. It's as if I have an extra Greek card in my, oh, right here, this would be great. So I'd have four Greek cards if I had him. And then there's another one here. But those are just some of the examples of the expert cards you can get. But you can buy as many of those as a free action, no matter what you do during your turn. So what you're going to do, you know, every turn, just to, you know, reiterate, you're going to get a card, you know, from the display. You're going to choose either put items in my museum or get cards from my discard pile. And then after that, you know, in any of those turns, whichever action you pick, you can always play a favor card, which, you know, here's the favor card, another one right here. Always has a bottom ability and has another special ability right here that I can do. Really cool abilities. I can always buy experts right here. So that's kind of how a turn looks in this game. Once you're done with your turn, so say I bought these guys right here, you're going to refill this experts row right here. Okay, and all the cards that people bought or took up here, you're going to take new cards and bring them out from the draw decks right there. And you're going to make sure that you have your hand limit. You make sure that you have, you know, no more than 3 favor cards and no more than 7 object cards. If you have any more, you have to discard down. So that's what you do at the end of every turn. At the end of every round, you do a couple different things. Well, yeah, exactly 2. So once, you know, after the starting player, it comes back around to the starting player right before that, you're going to discard this card here, just put it over here. You're going to shift these over, and you're going to draw a new expert. And the other thing you're going to do is you're going to draw one of these headlines that I was talking about a little bit earlier. And you just, this is something that's going to happen during the round. Object cards in Europe are increased by 1. So I would draw an extra object card in Europe, put it right here, and I put this +1 here, and that just lets us get an extra 1 for the entire round. And then when it's over, you know, we're just going to put him back on top if no one's bought him. So that's some of the headlines that can happen. There's just different things that you can have done in the game. Every time you get 10 points, you're going to get a favorite card, a purple card, remember, for free. And favorite cards are just good. You can't really go wrong with them. Yeah, so up here there's one at 20 and obviously 30, 40, and 50. And the game ends in 2 ways. Either one of these continent decks is depleted. There's no cards in. As soon as you fill this, if there's 2 of them are depleted, the game's going to end immediately. The other way that it can end, it's a more common way, is that once one person reaches 50, as soon as they reach 50, they take this 5-point thing right here, and then everyone else gets one more turn. And what you're going to do, the way that you're going to score, is it's got a nice little scoring thing right here, but you're going to score for your collections that you have in your museum at the end. So you're going to score for, you know, this collection. Let's say you got this one right here, and say you got this one, you know, you're gonna score both of these, but they have to be touching. They can't be like, this one can't be over here and then, you know, this one is separated this way. They have to be touching in some way, and they could even be like this, side by side. Anyway, but they just have to be adjacent. So you're gonna score for collections, both types, domains and civilization. You're gonna score for your patron card. Don't forget the yellow card we chose at the beginning of the game. We're going to get points for these objectives that we fulfilled by the end of the game. It's 5 for each one. We're also going to get, if we filled every spot in the museum, okay, 25 spots. If we put cards in each of these slots right here, in all 5 columns, we're going to get 12 points. If we filled the gallery right here, we're going to get 10 points, okay? And the gallery is the colored spaces. So if we did 9 colored spaces and they're all in the same collection, okay, they have to be in the same collection, they can't just be random cards, you're going to get 10 points. If you did both, if you filled and have a collection right here, you get 25 points. So that's how that works. Every prestige point is going to give you 1 victory point at the end of the game, so these are good. And then also your public opinion. So there's one other thing I need to explain. There's certain cards that can come out in the deck called public opinion. If you draw one of these when you're trying to refill, you don't replace the card, you just leave it empty like that. And you're going to take one of these public opinion things, you're going to put it right here on the continent, and every card in your discard pile, or anybody's discard pile, is going to give you that many negative points at the end of the game. So it's just 1. If you draw another public opinion later, it might be 2, and then you might have 3, maybe at the end of the game. And so cards from this continent are going to be worth a lot of negative points, so you'd want to try to pick them up. So that's one last thing that can really happen. And then the only other thing is there's an extra 5 points for the guy that got this right here. But that's it. That's how you play museum. Thank you so much for watching.